Hey guys, we're gonna have to do things the old school way today. Technology is broken, and I also luckily left my tripod at my in-laws' house while we were recording Christmas. So here we go, this is the best I can do, but I really thought we needed a video lesson for this so you could go at this at your own pace. So today we're gonna be talking about solving equations. Okay, so the first equation here, and excuse my notes, we have 4x minus 15 equals 61. Okay, so the ultimate goal here is that we're solving for x and that we want to get x all by itself. So this 4 and this 15, they have to go away. At the end, we want to have x equals and then our answer. So we want to move the 4 and the 15 over to the other side of the equal sign. And in order to do that, you always use opposite operations. So the opposite of adding is subtracting, the opposite of division is multiplication. Opposite operations. So you have to move the 4 and the 15, and the question is, well, which one do I move first? You always do the adding and subtracting first. Okay, think of it like this. Let's say, see how close the 4 and the x are together? They're like best friends. Okay, so the 4 is going to leave last. So they're having a party, and the best friend always leaves last. 4 is going to leave last. So we're going to do adding and subtracting always first. So we're going to start with the 15. It's minus 15. So to do the opposite, to get rid of it, you're going to add 15 to it, because then it will cancel out, because negative 15 and a positive 15 make 0. There's nothing there now. Well, this is an equation. It's like a balance. If I take away or I add 15 to one side, now I'm unbalanced, and I need to balance back. So in order to do that, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So I'm going to add 15 over here as well. Then I'm just going to rewrite my next line, whatever I have left from the line above. So I still have my 4x. This one away, I have my equal sign, and 61 plus 15 is 76. So once again, I'm trying to get the x by itself. It's time for the 4 to go home, time for him to leave. So we have to do the opposite operation. This is 4 times x. Okay, so I am going to divide to move the 4 to the other side. So use your opposite operation, divide both sides by 4. Notice how I used a fraction. Okay, really, do you ever see like that little division sign? Okay, I don't want to see this, 4 divided by 4, or 4 under the box. Okay, I don't want to see any of that. As you get older in math, a lot of things are just left in fractions, even improper fractions. So also, it makes it nicer for you to just cancel it out. So these would cancel out because 4 divided by 4 is actually 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Okay, so this would give us 1x, which would give us just x. And I really hope you can see the whole board in the screen right now. All right, so if we divide this side by 4, we have to divide this side by 4. So now what we're left with is x equals whatever 76 divided by 4 is, which is 19, and this would be our answer. So remember that up here, x is an actual number. We just use a variable because maybe in a situation, maybe next time, x is going to be, it's going to equal 72, and x is going to be a different number, okay? So if you're having trouble remembering what variables are, you can go back and watch some previous videos in the algebra section of my YouTube channel. All right, so let's try another example. So we have 2 plus 7x equals 16. All right, so again, we're trying to get the x by itself. First, let's think about this in words. Okay, what are those opposite operations I'm going to use? If I ask you to write a sentence explaining what your opposite operations are, let's see. Well, I have to move this 2 and I have to move the 7x. I know that 7 and x, they look like they're best friends because they're right next to each other, so I'm going to move the 2 first. It's a positive 2, so to move it to the other side, I'd have to the opposite, I would have to subtract. So you could say, first, I would subtract. Then, this was 7 times x. Okay, so the opposite of multiplication is division. So then I would divide. Okay, so if you write that out, then you kind of already know what math steps you have to take when you actually go to solve the equation. So let's use what we said. I said first I would subtract. Okay, because this is a positive 2, you have to subtract the 2 so that it cancels out, and what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Then you're going to rewrite what you still have, which is 7x equals, and 16 minus 2 is 14. So in my sentence earlier, I said, first I will subtract, then I will divide, because this is 7 times x, and the opposite would be to divide by 7. So you're going to cancel the 7s, and what I do to one side, I have to do the other. So now I have x equals, and 14 divided by 7 is 2, so that would be my answer. Okay, another thing that you might be asked to do, or something that's just good to know how to do, sorry I'm speaking to the board sometimes, it's different doing a tutorial this way for me. So let's put that equation back up here. Okay, we already know that x equals 2. So what if I'm asking you to verify or check your answer? Okay, it's easy to check your answers with these to make sure that you're doing it right. All you have to do is evaluate this expression for x equals 2. So you're going to take the 2 and plug it back in where you see the x to make sure that this side really does equal 16. So you have 2 plus 7 times 2. Okay, does that equal 16? So let's use order of operations. You would multiply first, so you have 2 plus 14. 2 plus 14 equals 16. Okay, yes, you got this right. So to verify, all you do is plug the number you got in for your answer back into your original equation and make sure that the left side actually does equal the right side. Okay, let me show you one more example here that you haven't seen yet. Okay, so let's do 5 plus x divided by 2 equals 16. All right, so once again, I have the 5 and the 2 that need to go away from the x to the other side. The 2 is closer to the x, so they're best friends. They're going to stay at the party longer, so we're going to move the 5 first. This is a positive 5, so to do the opposite, I would subtract the 5 so that there's no longer any 5s over here. Whatever I do to the left, I have to do to the right. Okay, so now I'm left with x over 2 equals, and 16 minus 5 is 11. Okay, so this is x divided by 2. Remember, fractions are a division problem. So if this is x divided by 2, and I have to do the opposite operation, I have to multiply by 2. Okay, so if I'm multiplying by 2 here, again, these would cancel because 1 over 1, that would equal 1 over 1. And then if I multiply by 2 on the left, I have to multiply by 2 on the right. So then x equals 22. Okay, and if I want to check my answer, I can go back to the original equation, which was 5 plus x over 2. Well, x was 22, so let's try it. 22 over 2. Does this equal 16? Okay, so you have 5 plus, well, 22 divided by 2 is 11. 5 plus 11 is 16. So that's a yay, check mark, you got it right. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys some to try. So maybe you have a whiteboard because you're in class, or maybe you're at home and you have a scratch piece of paper that you can do these on. So here's one I would like for you to try. You have 17 equals 2x plus 8. So my hint here is now you're just moving the 8 and the 2 over to the left. We were moving to the right earlier. Think about that sentence. First you will, I don't know, subtract, then divide, okay? And then also maybe check your answer at the end. So you can pause the video and try out this problem. Okay, so hopefully you got x equals 9 over 2, okay, or any kind of other fraction form of this. If you did not get x equals 9 over 2, then you can continue to watch and I will show you how to get that. So you have to subtract the 8 to both sides. So 17 minus 8 is going to give you 9. And then on this side you still have 2x. Then you're going to divide both sides by 2 because the opposite operation here would be to divide. Okay, and you can always leave your answers as improper fractions. When you take calculus, most of your answers are always improper fractions, or you leave them improper to do your calculus. All right, same thing. I'm going to give you a problem. You're going to pause and try it on your own. 6x plus 25 equals 79. Go ahead and pause. Okay, hopefully you got x equals 9. If you did not, you can continue to watch. You would subtract 25 and end up with 6x equals 54. Then you divide, sorry, I know I'm talking to the wall. You divide both sides by 6, and 54 divided by 6 would equal 9. All right, I'm going to give you one more example to try on your own, and then we're going to talk about one more little topic that has to do with this. So 13 plus x over 3 equals 35. You can pause and try this on your own. Okay, if you got x equals 66, you can move on. If you did not, you can keep watching. So positive 13, I need to move this to the other side. So you subtract from both sides. This cancels. This is left on the left side. And 35 minus 13 is 22. So you have x divided by 3. The opposite operation would be to multiply by 3. These cancel. Multiply by 3 on the other side as well, and x equals 66. Okay, one last thing here. Sometimes you might be given like a short little word problem, and you can use solving equations to figure this out. So I'm not going to write the whole word problem out for the sake of time, but it says, what is the number that when you multiply by 3 and subtract, hopefully I'm writing big enough, and subtract 5 from the product, you get 28. Sorry, you have to watch me write all this out. Oh, technology. Okay, so, different color here. Oh boy, bells, sorry. Okay, multiply by 3. So it's what is the number? So we need a variable. So what is the number that when you multiply it by 3? So I'm going to have 3 times a variable and subtract 5 from the product, okay, the product of 3 times x. You get 28. Okay, so you could set this up and then you could solve for it. You kind of don't have a lot of room here, but you would add 5 to both sides and then you would divide by 3. Okay, so hopefully the different type of video wasn't too bad here today and that you learned something. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.